of 2023. Where did it go? But it's good to have Wendy back, and in a couple of weeks, on the 17th, we'll have Rick and Addie will be here. And in the middle of this, actually not in the middle, this weekend, we celebrate Tu B'Shvat, the holiday of the trees. And we have some songs about trees tonight in Tu B'Shvat theme. We'll explain it a little bit, but I'm going to turn it over to Wendy to get us in the Shabbat mood, to get us ready for Shabbat, and to help us pray together.
So I'm going to ask Mr. Michael to put up the first slide. It's coming. There we go. Inimato. How good it is to be here tonight together. Inimato. Umanayim. Shevirachim gam yachad. Inimato. It is so good. It is so good to be here, to pray with you tonight. It is so good to be here and pray with you tonight. We are gathered here together to join in joyful expect more sound out of the next few songs. So we're going to switch to the next, we already got the next slide. All right, this is an audience participation. You might be singing, you might be clapping. If you want to dance in the aisles, feel free. I want to hear somebody pray. I want to hear somebody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear somebody pray. Okay, so that was your warm-up. That's the whole song. Now we're going to sing it 10 times as loud. I want to hear everybody sing. I want to hear everybody sing. We're going to clap and sing and pray at the same time. I want to hear everybody pray. I want to hear everybody pray. Down in the valley and over yonder, I want to hear everybody pray. I want to hear everybody sing. I want to hear everybody pray. All right, we're warmed up.
So we're actually going to also sing some songs about trees now, about Tu B'Shvat. So Tu B'Shvat is literally the 15th day of the month of Shvat that we're in. So we're in the kind of still the middle of winter, but Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of Shvat on the Hebrew calendar, on the Jewish calendar, is a time when we're starting to think about the springtime. And the Torah, actually, we just read this in our Torah study a couple weeks ago. In Leviticus, in the Torah, it says that you're not allowed to pick anything from the trees for the first 3 years. And then in the fourth year, you can't even eat the stuff that you pick in the third year. In the fourth year, you have to dedicate that. You have to give it up as a sacrifice. But for the first 3 years, you're not supposed to touch the trees. You're supposed to let them grow. And actually, now we know it's probably a good idea when you're growing and planting trees and watching them grow is not to pick them, not to stress them out for the first few years. So that's what the Torah says. But the problem is, the rabbis had to figure out, well, how do we calculate the age of a tree? And so Tu B'Shvat, the 15th of this month, which will be this weekend, is the time when people would look at the calendar. They knew it was the full moon in this winter time, and they say any tree that was planted before this time was last year's tree. Every tree that was planted after that was this next year's tree plant. And that's how they calculated how the trees, when the trees were ready to be picked and when they were ready to reach their full maturity. So the Talmud actually says there's a couple of New Years. We have, of course, the New Year everyone knows about now, Rosh Hashanah, but there was actually another New Year, of course, which was the first of Nisan, the first of the month of springtime in a couple of months, which is the time of Passover. And the Bible says that this originally actually was the New Year. And it actually only later on did Rosh Hashanah become the New Year that we know of today. There's actually another New Year too. There were 4. So there was Nisan, there was Tishrei, which is our Rosh Hashanah. There's Tu B'Shvat, and there's actually the Rosh Chodesh of Elul, which is just before Tishrei. It's the 11th month now. It was the 6th month. It was a time of figuring out how old the animals were, and also vegetables and other things that were offered up. We have a similar concept, by the way. Most of us don't know this because we're not horse breeders, but if you're a horse breeder, especially for horse racing, every horse is born on January 1st. They're not all really born on January 1st, but every horse has the same birthday. And that way they know how old is a 2-year-old. And so when they have a race for 2-year-olds, all of them have the same birthday, January 1st. It's actually in the northern hemisphere. If the horses live in the southern hemisphere, they have August 1st as their birth date. But these are real things. And it also is important because, again, conceivably, you could have a 13-month-old horse running against an almost 24-month-old horse. So there is a problem with this, and people actually try to make sure the horses are born around the same time. But it is an issue for horses, I guess, especially ones that race. So that's a similar idea we have for Tu B'Shvat, that the trees, we needed to know what the cutoff date was. So Tu B'Shvat today for us, because we don't offer up sacrifices and we don't calculate trees necessarily, we don't have to, outside of the land of Israel, calculate these things. But what we are going to do is think about trees, especially in our day. We think about this as a time of planting, our responsibility to the environment, responsibility to take care of planting and not just cutting things down. And so this is a time for thinking about that. So Wendy and I are going to help lead the Tu B'Shvat Seder for our Sunday school on Sunday. It's always a lot of fun. We've done adult events for Tu B'Shvat too. We have in past years had wine tastings and Tu B'Shvat Seders for adults too. But this one on Sunday is going to be just for kids, unfortunately. This is only for kids on the Sunday one. But it is a great time to think about our responsibility and the interdependence we have with nature, that we're kind of learning. Our ancestors had a much better handle on this than we do. So we're going to sing some songs about trees, and we have some songs. Some of you might have sung with us in previous years around Tu B'Shvat, because even if we're doing a Tu B'Shvat Seder just for kids, we always have a Shabbat around Tu B'Shvat, and we like to sing some songs about trees. So do you want to say anything special about this song, Wendy? Any special thing about this tune in particular about trees?
Nothing in particular. This was written by Ellen Allard. So you'll notice the chorus is bolded, so that will happen several times in the song, so hopefully you can catch on. This lovely tree standing before us, planted by someone a long time ago, someone with hope tomorrow with a dream of the future right here in this tree. So raise your hands up high for all the world to see. Everyone stand up for trees. The thing about trees that is so amazing, in living they give us all that we need. They give us food, shelter and beauty, and they give us the air that we breathe. Chorus, raise your hands up high for all the world to see. Everyone stand up for trees. Some trees are huge, some trees are tiny, some scrape the sky and some scrape your knee. Some live a long time with rings that can prove it. Some form this bema where we sing a song. So raise your hands up high for all the world to see. Everyone stand up for trees, for trees.
That some of them again are really big. I was just in Arizona, and a woman was telling me that her mother, who loves trees a lot, went into a store. It was called the Giving Tree. She thought it was connected to the Giving Tree. It was a dispensary. It had nothing to do with trees. She thought they was going to see some plants there. I guess she did, but not the ones she expected. Anyways, the Giving Tree. Anyways, one of those stories. So this is a song. Last couple weeks ago, we had a great service with Debbie Friedman music, and we were remembering her yahrzeit, her passing in January. And this is one of the songs that she wrote, which are it's part of our legacy. This is one of the few songs about Tu B'Shvat. There's not a lot of songs. It's a tough word to rhyme, Tu B'Shvat, you know? It's really a tough word, a couple words. But this song is got Tu B'Shvat in the name. And we sung this before, so you might have heard this before.
Kind of tells the story of planting and growing. So first we're going to dig a hole. Let's dig a hole. Let's dig a hole and plant a seed. Let's water it, oh let's water it, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Look at the sprouts. Look at the sprouts, they're coming up. Let's water them, oh let's water them, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Oh, trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Whoosh! Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Look at the leaves. The leaves are growing, breaking out. Let's water them, oh let's water them, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. And it's really growing year after year. Look at the trunk. The trunk is so much bigger now. Let's water it, oh let's water it, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Whoosh! Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Look at the tree. The tree is so much taller now. Let's water it, oh let's water it, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. It's blowing. Trees are blowing at El Nino. Trees are blowing in the wind. Whoosh! Trees are blowing in the wind, they're blowing. Trees are blowing in the wind. Just look at me. Just look at me. I'm taller now. Don't water me, please don't water me, 'cause it is Tu B'Shvat. Very cute.
Especially for our young people, they love that song. But yeah, that's our Debbie Friedman Tu B'Shvat song. So we have more tree songs at the end. Don't worry. If you again want to think about different ways to celebrate Tu B'Shvat, we plant a tree. That's a real simple thing to do. But plant something and watch it grow over the next couple of months. That's a really cool thing to do. We're going to light our Shabbat candles now. And in previous years, we've actually been in Israel on Tu B'Shvat to plant trees. We have. Some people have done it with our temple before. We have pictures. And it's fun to actually see my kids, planting trees when they were little kids. And thinking about how big those trees are, how big they are now too. That's one of the things that you also think about as you're thinking about things growing, which is why that song is so funny. But we're going to be there just after Tu B'Shvat this year, but we'll hopefully see some good things growing in Israel. We're going to light our Shabbat candles now on page 5, and I actually wanted to ask Kelly to come up to light our candles tonight. She helped set up the oneg, but she's also traveling with us to Israel. And she is, we wish her and all of our travelers in Nesiyah Tovah. She's actually the only woman who's here tonight. Everyone else is packing, I said. Everyone else is packing and getting ready for the trip. But we're so lucky that Kelly's here tonight. So, there you go. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, Etzivanu le'ad leganer, Etzivanu le'ad leganer, Etzivanu le'ad leganer, Shel Shabbat.
Let there be joy.
Let there be peace.
Let there be light.
Let there be Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. And again, we're hoping to have a very, very exciting trip to, and lots of stories to come back to. Again, some of the people who've traveled with us in previous years. I know Lori was with us on our last trip to Israel. It's a tiring trip, isn't it, Lori? It's a little tiring, but it's great. It's a great trip, and we hope everyone has a chance to travel to Israel at some point to make that journey. On page 5, as you see down below that, the blessing for our families, the blessing for our community. We take a moment to think about our families wherever they are, through the generations, if they're nearby. We can say the blessing over them, wherever they are, we can think about them now, to think about the generational blessing and traditions we have. And for the boys, for men in our family, we say Yesimcha Elohim, Ke'Ephraim V'chi Menashe. And for the women and girls in our family, we say Yesimech Elohim, Ke'Sarah Rivka, Rachel V'Leah. And for everyone, we offer our blessing of protection and peace. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and protect you. May God's presence enlighten you, be gracious to you. And may God reach out to you in tenderness and give you peace, give you shalom. And think a special thought, say a special prayer now for your family, wherever they are. On page 6, we're going to continue with Kabbalat Shabbat, with welcoming Shabbat now, with Lecha Dodi, with envisioning the Shabbat as a bride now, as a queen. On page 6, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha dodi, lekrat kala, penei Shabbat lekabala. 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 Shamor זכור ודיבור אחד, השמיענו אלוהים אחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושם אותי ברב נטילה לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי חמך אמרה, ממש מקדם נסופך, סוף מעשה במשכבתי לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה. אוהי ושלום, עטרת פעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה, ולפני שבת נקבלה.
Our official call to worship, to pray together with the Shema and its blessings. Page 7, Baruch Hu. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Baruch Hu
Tonight as we move into 15th of Shabbat, which means that next month it'll be the 15th of Adar, which will be Purim. Think about that, Wendy. It'll be Purim in about a month. It's a month, and that's a lot of fun and a lot of work for Wendy. And Rick and Addie, who will be here too for Purim. It's the all-star lineup of Purim celebration for the Megillah, for the story of Purim. And then a month after that, it'll be Passover. And that's how we know that the calendar is racing in front of us for this year, for the Jewish year at least, on these full moons coming up. But on page 7, as we think about the transition in time, the transitions in our lives, the months, the days, and every evening we look out at the night sky to the sunset, to the beauty of the heavens, and say, there is truly a miracle and truly something special in the passage of time in these transitions as we give thanks for the night sky. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. We praise you, God, who brings on the evening night, the twilight, and on the night, on page 8, we turn to Ahavat Olam, the nighttime prayer of love, of Ahava. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael. Continue with the Shema. Ve'ahavta, continue with the theme of love, our love for God. As we've talked about and sung about God's love for us, we continue with our love for God. Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibartam V'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shapecha u'v'mecha u'shavtam le'ot ha'adecha v'hayu l'totafot b'einecha u'k'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'isharecha Leman tiskaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim leloechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hoseti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim, v'yot lechem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
As we continue on page 10 with Mi Chamocha, this is the song of freedom. This is a prayer that actually was originally a song. And we, of course, sing it in our generation. Every generation finds melodies to sing this song to, because this is the song we sang according to tradition. Moses and Miriam led the people in song. And this is a version of the prayer that was written by Wendy as an English kavanah, as an English intention to this song of freedom, a song that we sang when we became free.
Some of you may recognize this melody. Oh, I forgot. When we get to the part where it says, and Moses said, see that? You have to say that really loud. And Moses said, follow me if you want to be free. I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. Then Miriam and all the women danced with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea. Who is like you, O Lord, among the mighty? Who is like you, glorious in holiness, revered in praises, doing I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. The Miriam and all the women dance with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea. בוקר היום לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Adonai will reign forever and ever. The people chanted as they crossed the way to freedom, leaving Egypt for the promised land. They sang and danced and clapped their hands. Moses said, follow me, you want to be free. I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. The Miriam and all the women dance with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea. And Moses said, follow me if you want to be free. I'll be the one to lead you through the Red Sea. The Miriam and all the women dance with glee as Adonai led the people through the Red Sea.
And we had a few people that were concerned about it. I think everyone was concerned about who was going to Israel from what happened in the last couple of days. And I told people, I said, look, the reality is more people were killed in Monterey Park than unfortunately another tragedy in Jerusalem around the same time. So I said, you know, you're not going to visit California. We all live, you know, we live here. And sure enough, after I said that, there was a shooting in Half Moon Bay and then another one in Beverly Hills. And unfortunately, it turned out California during the month of January was a lot more dangerous than even some of these places that are technically at war or have ongoing issues that obviously we're still far away from peace, but even in our own backyards. And so we pray for Ukraine and we pray for Israel and the Middle East, and we pray for safety and security here in California. So tonight, as we pray and hope that we'll find a more peaceful world when we wake up, on page 11, this is the nighttime prayer for peace, Hashkivenu. Hope you have a good night and a safe night. Wake up to a beautiful world and safe world.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom.
12 is Vishamru. It's one of the few prayers or songs that we've had tonight. Definitely in the last few prayers are all prayers that we sing every night. The Hashkivenu prayer, the Shema and its blessings. But Vishamru is a special song about this day, about Shabbat, about this tradition. And the words for Vishamru come right from the Torah, from the book of Shemot, from Exodus, to remind us of how special this day is, a day of rest, a day that even God rested. And so, in the image of God and in the work of God, we also don't work like God on the Sabbath. On page 12 is Vishamru.
We're going to turn up the volume here. Make this the loudest thing you've sung all evening. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat alasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorot u'merit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat alasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorot u'merit olam.
Friday night for Shabbat evening begins on page 13, but we also have the text, the traditional text of the Amidah, on pages 14 and 15. This is a time for silent prayer. The traditional text is here, but traditionally we also use this time for silent prayer, especially thinking about, meditating on what we're grateful for. To stop thinking about the things that we want or the things that we need, to stop thinking about the things we ask God for, but instead to be grateful for the things that we have. And so on Shabbat, we focus on all of our blessings and the miracles we have in our lives. So however you need to take that time, we ask you to join us in the Amidah, and we're going to rise for the Amidah, to be seated when you're done with your personal prayers. So the first page, on page 13, we'll chant together out loud, and then we continue silently. And when everyone's seated, we'll know again it's time to continue out loud. We'll give everyone a chance for personal prayer. So please rise for the Amidah on 13 through 15, and with your own silent meditations and tefillot, your prayers on Shabbat. Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Ha'akol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'imaot, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. Peace, the Oseh Shalom prayer, the prayer that comes at the end of the Amidah, the chance for us to once again think about creating peace and harmony in our world. Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom b'mulad. 15, you can find the prayer for healing, the Mishaberach prayer. So this is a time for us to think about those in need of healing, those people who are fighting illness, who are, again, we're thinking about and praying for courage and for strength in the face of illness and disease. And so we hope you're doing everything you need to keep yourselves healthy and strong, right?
I'm trying.
Everybody needs to do that. Hopefully everyone had the New Year's resolution that it's only a month gone by, so hopefully people are still sticking to their New Year's resolutions. Or maybe they had them from Rosh Hashanah, and they've already had 3 or 4 months to be working on them. But who knows? Hopefully everyone's doing what they need to, at least to stay healthy. So, but for those who are having problems, and we take a moment always to think about them in our prayer. So please say the names out loud of people that you're personally thinking of in your circle that are in need of some prayers, in need of strength right now. So please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you and hear those names.
Doreen Harbecker, Mark Rubin, Sidel Fishman, Marty and Sophia Frumpkin, Vash Benevent.
Mark Walker, Sue Jackson, Karen Barnett.
David Childers.
Ethel Lee.
Gwen Schwartz and Joanne Shepard.
Holly Dexter, Sue Jackson, Karen Barnett, Jerry Cattell, Mark Walker, and Ernesto Marino.
Joe Mergen, Rita Rafat, on page 15, Misha Baruch. We'll do a little something a little odd. We're going to do Eitz Chaim first. So we have a slide. Our next slide is for a song that we're going to do, which also is a song about trees. But in this song, the Torah is compared in our scriptures to a tree of life. And so we call the Torah an Eitz Chaim, a tree of life. And actually the Eitz Chaim, the wood rollers on the Torah, we call those the trees of life as well, because they're made of wood. And the Torah is compared to a tree. The people of Israel are also compared to trees. We actually, we're just reading in our Tuesday morning class how we're compared to a vineyard, and a vineyard that God has planted and taken care of, but again, not always doing the right thing as in our analogy of being a plant. But we're compared to plants actually several times in the Bible and in rabbinic tradition to a plant. But of course the Torah, as I said, is also compared to a tree. And so these words, Eitz Chaim, are actually part of the service when we open up the ark and return the Torah scrolls back to the ark. We say, Eitz Chaim, the Torah is our tree of life. Let's hold fast to it. Let's grasp it like a tree that gives us life. And so this is one of the things that trees remind us of also, strength and the images that we have as being connectors to God. And of course it goes back to the tree in the garden at the beginning of humanity, the trees in the garden, the tree of life, and also the tree of knowledge. And those, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, actually, if you want to know the full tree of knowledge, wasn't just knowledge, it's knowledge of good and evil, but the tree of life, Eitz Chaim. So it goes all the way back to the beginning. So this is a song that, again, some people hopefully know, or versions of Eitz Chaim. There's a few different ones. Hopefully you know this one. So this is Eitz Chaim.
Full disclosure, I only heard this song for the first time yesterday.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like,
So then you probably haven't heard it. Well, Wendy just heard it, but this is a nice version of Eitz Chaim.
I probably listened to it about 20 times. It's Chaim Hi, it's Chaim Hi, the Mahazikim Ba, B'tomecha Me'usha, Me'usha. It's the tree of life. It's the tree of life. So read it, learn it, and follow it, and be happy. Be happy. It's Chaim Hi. It's Chaim Hi, the Mahazikim Ba, B'tomecha Me'usha, Me'usha. It's the tree of life. It's the tree of life. So read it, learn it, and follow it, and be happy, and be happy. Great words to live by. Be happy.
And again, so Eitz Chaim, we think about the different images of trees in our lives, and again, the tradition that we've had has always been to value life in all its forms. I was thinking about and discussing recently. It was a very, very long time ago when we saved the old glory tree down on Pico Canyon, and the reason it came up was not so much because it was Tu B'Shvat when that happened. It was. That was the crazy thing. I was supposed to go up into the tree. I'd gone up into the tree with the tree sitter, John Quigley, a couple of times to prepare myself for going up and spending Tu B'Shvat in the tree. And as it turned out, that weekend, that Friday night, they actually, the police came in and kicked him out and arrested him. And, well, I got arrested too, but I didn't get charged. But I did, the reason that it came up was not because it was Tu B'Shvat, but because at a very small level, I had a chance to feel a little bit of police brutality. Very small part. But I do have photos that I was showing somebody, and I thought, wow, that was a long time ago. But yeah, that was the only time that I ever. But somebody called me and said, you know, you're on CBS tonight doing a perp walk, and I said, yeah, but it was not really. Come on, it wasn't like that. And well, I did see it later. What? I did. I went to the hospital. I did not go to the jail. I went to a hospital because I think they were worried that I was going to sue them for my beating, but it wasn't that bad. And Shirley was just one tiny example of sometimes when police go overboard. Anyways, but it was Tu B'Shvat time. It was an amazing thing to think about that we did save that tree, though. The tree's still alive. And so it was worth getting skinned up a little bit. It was really a little bit, and there's no permanent damage to it. But yes, that was one of my highlights. So it'll go on the highlight reel one day. On page 35, though, we're going to continue with Aleinu, which is, again, a reminder of our vision of our tradition, of our future as well. On page 35, we rise for Aleinu as we think about our values and the things that we consider as a people to bring oneness to the world. On page 35, Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shameach l'adon hakol, l'tikidol l'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'gayei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chochamana, v'ana לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה את הארץ ומשה ויקרו בשמיים ממעל ושינה סוזו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו הכתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחת אין עוד ונאמר יהוה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
On page 36, we come to the Mourner's Kaddish, a time for remembering our loved ones of blessed memory. And as we look back over the previous years, the yard sites, the losses at this time of year, Bernie Abrams, Rochelle Brotman, Harold Lowe, Elaine Goodman, Mark Suffin, Rebecca Gilden, Serena Goldflam, Cy Schoenwetter, Eddie Abrams, Larry George, Pauline Goldstein, Isidore Kaplan, Michael Peretz, Frank Durkee, Victoria Azani, Isabel Sheffy, Bernice Blazer, Warren Crane, Martin Schulman, Oscar Sloot, and Sally Sternin. And we remember over this last year the first yard site of Tova Ramon, Dan Zager, Adele Zager, Mariel Mandel, Sandra Hochberg, John King, Daniel Cohen, Dolores Pearl, Mo Blumen, Eric Milak, Barbara Hopkins, Matthew Himlin, Anita Locker, Mina Hirsch, Harriet Lipschitz, Debbie Schulman, Sherwin Golden, and Marvin Jubas. If there are people that you're remembering whose names we haven't said yet, we ask you to say them before we say Mourner's Kaddish. And as we remember the victims of war and the victims of terror over this last year as well, on page 36, as we remember our loved ones of blessed memory now with the Kaddish, page 36, we rise. Yikadal v'ikadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah barichu, le'elah min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, V'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imru mav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, amen, amen. Please be seated, everyone. Well, as I mentioned already a few times, we're going to Israel. And so we'll be in Israel, some of us will be in Israel. This time next week we'll be in Jerusalem. We'll be in Jerusalem for the next Shabbos with a good friend of mine that we see all the time. Every time we go to Israel, we see Cantor Rabbi Evan Cohen in Jerusalem, and we'll celebrate Shabbos there. And again, hope that we have some good stories and some inspiration to help us. And we're going to go again in June. So if you didn't get to go in this month, and hopefully you'll be able to join us in June. But we're not going to have classes, our normal Tuesday, Wednesday classes, because, the time difference will kind of prohibit us from being together. But if you haven't been in our classes over the last few months or the last few years, since we've been able to start recording them and streaming them, which we started doing during the pandemic. We'd never streamed our classes before. We've been doing classes for over 20 years, but we didn't start recording them. They're all up now on YouTube, and actually just 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, we started reading the book of Isaiah, and so we've had a couple of Isaiah classes. There's 2 classes of Isaiah that are up that you can watch. If you haven't studied the book of Isaiah, it's a really, really important book of the Bible. We actually had a chance to, last week, look at the story of Isaiah a little bit, one of the most important parts of Isaiah, the one where he kind of prophesizes that there's going to be a child born to a woman. Well, the translation of that in Greek said a child born to a virgin, and consequently, we have a whole very important concept within Christianity, which is based on a translation in Greek from the original Hebrew. So we had a little discussion about that. You can see that up online, as well as one of the great lines in the book of Isaiah, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, holy, holy, holy. The world is full with God's holiness, which is a great line. It's one of the lines that we say as part of our liturgy. And I actually shared this. One of the great Grammy memories I've ever had is when Carlos Santana got up about 20 years ago and said those words in Hebrew, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, when he won his Grammy, that big year he had for winning Grammys. But those words of God's holiness filling the whole world is quite an amazing concept too. So all the Isaiah, the last 2 Isaiah, beginning of Isaiah, if you will, is up, and also our Wednesday evening classes are also up there. The Leviticus classes too that we've been doing for the last, I think, month basically, right? I think it's about a month, right, Mary? We've been doing Leviticus. So those classes are up there too. So even though we're not going to have new ones, you can, if you've missed some, you can go back and catch up. So I apologize that we're not going to be doing classes from Israel. That'd be cool if we could do that. But it's going to be hard on at least the people who are going to be there. I would do it probably. I would. But it's a 10-hour time difference. So it's really, really tough. It's tough to do it at 5 o'clock in the morning. At least Thursday, it would be Thursday morning instead of Wednesday night. The 9 o'clock class starting at 7 p.m. wouldn't be too bad, but the other one would be tough. Anyways, I apologize. But we'll be back to normal schedule in a couple of weeks. And what else do we want to tell people? As I said, we have Purim next month. But in 2 weeks, Rick and Addie will be here. Well, I'm not going to be here. They'll be here on the 17th to help lead us in services and maybe get us into the mood for Purim, we hope. But I know that Wendy and Rick and Addie, they're all working on songs for Purim right now, right? It's Purim time. So the cool thing about that service and celebration for Purim is that it's a day for dressing up in costume. And we'll have some more information about that coming up. But before that, we have one other very special service a month from now, 4 weeks from now, on the first Friday of March. We're going to have one of our friends who doesn't live in this community, but who's led us in music 2 times already for Shabbat, and that's Rebbe Soul, who is coming down from San Francisco again. He'll be here on March 3rd for a special Shabbat service. And he's bringing a very close friend and a musical collaborator, Shlomit, who's a really talented Yemenite singer. And they perform and do concerts in a lot of places, but they're going to help us with Shabbat music and with Jewish music, and especially some of the Yemenite sounds. So that's going to be March 3rd at 7 o'clock here, so that's 4 weeks from now. We'll have that service with Rebbe Soul. So all the information is in the newsletter. Hopefully you're getting the weekly e-blast, is hopefully something you're getting. So all those reminders will be there. Wendy, do you want to make any announcements or reminders for people? No? Any special shows coming up that you're doing?
I'm going to be at the Hermosa Beach Library.
There you go.
If anybody wants to go down there, it's a show for kids, like 2 to 5-year-olds. Come on. Wacky Wendy.
So, well, that's fun to be down at the
I always
beach.
have fun.
So, Philip, do you want to make any announcements on behalf of the board?
No, but if you're not on, I'm sorry.
Take the mic.
Yeah, if you want information about Temple Beth Ami, see me, give me your email address, and I'll get you on the e-blast. And once a week, you'll get an email. It'll give you all the information about what's happening here. We don't sell your email. It's safe.
So no one even thought of that until you mentioned it.
But no, there have been articles about why people want your email now. The companies are always asking, when you go online, you buy something, they always give you a discount if you give them your email. There's a reason for that. And, one other thing, Kelly made a rum cake for the tree sitter.
Oh, she did for
Yeah.
John? Yeah.
And I'm surprised that he was able to stay in the tree.
And she was that?
Because her rum cakes are really strong. Anyway, that's it.
No, well, John didn't share it with me. He didn't, but I wasn't there. I wasn't up there long enough. But we do have some pictures. There are pictures. Maybe I'll share them for Tu B'Shvat of being up in the tree.
Oh,
But
yes.
but that was, it was all harnessed up, and it was going to go down on that weekend for Tu B'Shvat. So in the end, the tree survived. So the tree lived, which was great. It cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to move that tree. Seriously,
It's a
hundreds
really
of thousands.
nice hike if you walk
It's a
around that
beautiful
area.
walk around that tree.
Really pretty.
And it's lived long enough that they pretty much now think that it will make it. So, Tracy, you have an important announcement for something coming up in March, though.
Mahjong.
Mahjong. If you haven't signed up for the Mahjong Day of Fun, please sign up. It's March 12th from noon till 4, I think something like that, 4 or 5. We'll be serving lunch and English tea in the afternoon, or Chinese tea, whichever way you want to look at it. And you don't have to be an expert player. You can be a beginner. We'll have beginner tables. We'll have intermediate tables and expert tables, and there'll be lots of prizes and fun. So we've got lots of people coming from all over the valley and from out of the valley. So it's going to be a great day.
Yeah, there's people signing up every day, literally every day for it. So, but it's not here.
Oh, it's at
around.
Valencia Hills Clubhouse.
Not far from here, but it's not here. So that is about a month, 5 weeks from now or so. So something else to look forward to coming up. So we're going to finish up. Did you make us a rum cake today, Kelly?
No, but I can.
No, that's all right. Now I want to taste this rum cake. Maybe just the rum. Anyways, I'm not into cake. Now we're going to sing a song to finish up services, which is Adon Olam, which is on page 37. It's not the very last song. We're going to do one last song after that, but then we're going to have not rum cake, but cookies, rum cookies. So this is Adon Olam on page 37.
Adon Olam
Asher Malach
B'Terem Ko Yisirira Yedna Samar Sapu Zayman Shemoni Kra Yahari Kifot Vapu Levado Yim Lachtora Eruhava Veruhove Eruye Betifara Adon Olam Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Ko Yitzirira
finish with on page 39, in honor of our upcoming trip to Israel, Hatikva, the national anthem of Israel. Page 39. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. We're going to say the Kiddush, the blessing in here, and then go have some food. All right? Do our Kiddush first.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
We have some grape juice in the other room. We'll say our Hamotzi now over a challah.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Join us.
Shabbat shalom.
Some snacks.